There's another thing that is big in my life right now. In addition to the everyday awesomeness of my relationships and my friendships and my family, but my work situation is very exciting. This is a quote from Walden by Henry David Thoreau, and it says, "If a man loses pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer." Our new site is called AnyBeat, anybeat.com. I so love this name. I so love the direction that it takes us. Instead of being an alternative to Facebook, we are a place to celebrate the many paths, the many drum beats that we all follow. Both Facebook and Google Plus have laid down the law and said, we believe in a real names policy. Meaning that if I signed up as Halcyon, I would get my name deactivated. So I have to be John Styn. No big deal, right? Well, I think it's a big deal. I have lived online for over a decade, doing all sorts of stuff, and when I first got online, nobody was online, and so there wasn't much risk of my family and friends and coworkers reading things that I wrote or seeing the pictures I posted. It was kind of like, it didn't even occur to me. I thought, well, I mean, if for some reason eventually they got online, I'll just take it all down. I didn't realize that there would be things like archive.org that would archive it all. Whoops. So, but in that space of feeling like I was free to be who I wanted to, it was very liberating. It allowed me to explore things, to explore ideas, to express things without the thought of, well, what if my parents see this? What if my coworkers see this? What if my future nieces and nephews see this? That is a crippling place to be creatively. So, I happen to have fallen into a place in my career, in my life, where there is minimal consequences to me for being flamboyant, for crossing the line and being non-professional or not safe for work or whatever those things. I'm very lucky and blessed, and there have been consequences to my actions, but in the end, I'm happy for them. But if I had it to do all over again, I would have picked a pseudonym. I would not have lived my online life. I would not have explored the personalities, beliefs, religious ideas, spiritual things, confidence, self-expression. I would not have done all of those things under my real name. At the time, I kind of believed it was almost like part of my art, like I was proud of all these things. But there have been almost disastrous consequences to that. There have been times when my family has faced serious consequences to my actions. Not just embarrassment, but like professional problems. And so if I had it to do over again, I would have created a pseudonym to live out this life, this kind of internal life that I do not want connected to my professional or my family. So if you want to look up John Styn, you would see my professional, you'd see my education, you would see the things that I would put into a letter that I would send on Christmas. The public stuff that I care about everybody seeing. But I would also want to be able to explore and build the person that I've kind of built online. So to see that these tools that are becoming really the de facto place that people are building their online identity are forcing people to connect to their professional lives and their families is like, well, you're basically telling people, edit yourself. Whether you're saying it or not, whether you are, even if people aren't aware of it. A lot of people say, it's no big deal. Yes, it is. When you know and that people are talking or watching, you act differently. And if you know people in the future, at any time, could listen to anything that you say now just by searching it. Oh my God. I'm in a situation now where my amazing, beautiful, wonderful partner, I've never met her parents. However, they know my name, so they can go to Google and find out all sorts of stuff about me before they ever meet me. Stuff that I would rather not be so available just based on knowing my name. If I met someone in the street, I wouldn't say, here's my first name and here's my last name. Google me. I would get to know them and maybe share things eventually. I certainly wouldn't tell my girlfriend's parents, oh, I lived in a webcast house for a few years and showered on cam, and, you know, if you Google hard, never mind. But nice to meet you. I really like your daughter. You know, that's just gotta... So, one of the things that Altly, which then changed its name to AnyBeat, is embracing is the right to choose and live by a pseudonym. This isn't the same as being anonymous. Anonymous means, you know, you can like jump in, post, and leave, and like no consequences. In this community that we're trying to build, we want people to have an identity, whether it's Halcyon or whether it's John Styn. It's up to the individual to decide how much they want to be anchored to their other portions of their life. Some people are so into like brand building that they've forgotten that there's more to personal expression than brand building. In fact, in our principles that we've posted, one of them is actually do not build your personal brand here. Actually, let me read the cultural points that we posted yesterday. We encourage you to feel free to contact any citizen and feel free to ignore contact. That's another thing that we really wanted to do differently. The existing social networks, we're calling ourselves an online community, the way they used to be. Back when I was building Citizen X, we were an online community, which meant it's a place to meet new people, have shared ideals, support one another, and have, you know, and it's kind of like, if you don't want to adopt and believe a certain element of this community, go away. This isn't just a tool set to do what you want with. It is an environment in which we are trying to allow a level of discourse, a level of interaction. So we are encouraging people to reach out to strangers. You cannot do that on Facebook. It's against the rules to do that on Facebook. So we want to make a place where you can kind of go through the directory and say, this person looks interesting, or you go through conversations and go, wow, what great points. Reach out, connect. At the same time, that can be daunting, especially if you happen to have a very sexy picture and you don't want to, you know, so you don't have to reply to everyone. But, you know, we want a place where, hey, if you're here and you're on board, we're all cool people, very much like it is at Burning Man. If you walk the streets of Burning Man, you can pretty much guarantee that everyone you meet is going to be happy to meet you. They might not have time to get into a conversation or do your performance or watch your dance or whatever, but they know, hey, we are both miracles on this planet. What an honor to connect with you even for this second. I kind of dream for AnyBeat to be that kind of vibe. Respect your fellow citizens. Goes without saying. We're going to have a standard of conduct. We're going to have rangers, which are like the people who are, in the old Citizen X, they were ambassadors. They were people who get what the site's about. They help role model behavior. They help people find things they're looking for. And if people are crossing the line or being inappropriate, giving them reminders or booting them or whatever it takes. We're also going to have a system of kind of called cred, that is so that you can look at someone's account very quickly and know, oh, they've been very active and supportive of people, so I know this is somebody who isn't just like jumping in, typing, and leaving. Number 3, don't build your personal brand here. Do that on Twitter, Google+, and LinkedIn. Instead, see this as a place where you have no work to do whatsoever. It is simply a place to hang out, socialize, converse, and enjoy. Many of us have forgotten that some of the best things in life are ones that provide us no residual value. And that's really an observation and an act against kind of what we've been seeing so much in social media. I mean, you may not fall in that category, but because these things are attached to our permanent record, every post, every tweet becomes like a little marketing message in some way because you thought about it. You know, you crafted this. It's a way of presenting yourself. There was a great essay that said, social media is not social, it's media. We are broadcasting an image of ourselves. And so we're trying to say, hey, look, pick a pseudonym if you have to. Don't think of this as building, you know, some brand. Think of this as a place to explore and be who you really are. Again, that's kind of what we feel like the playa is like, what Burning Man is like, is when you go out there, if you want to be a different name, you want to be like, you know, Barbarella Tinseltoes, and you want to dress differently and look differently and act more like you really are, because it's something that you don't feel free to be in your regular life, be that at any beat. Explore that. Let that out, because that is such a gift. That true, honest self is such a gift. And if we can kind of say, look, this is a place to be that, what a magical community it would be, and what a magical thing for the world it could be. Number 4, don't market to each other. This is also based on Burning Man. No commerce. Share your voice, not your pitch. We will have business, we will have brands, things, but it will not be as people. They will be a different sort of interaction. We recognize that commerce is a part of life, but we're trying to make it so that our audience, our site is for the people, and if there's a way to connect people with brands, great. It is not for brands to give them a tool to market to people. And then number 5 is feel free to use a pseudonym. And that is what I was talking about a lot earlier. So we are very close to a friends and family alpha. We're going to be doing our big launch when we get back from Burning Man and get all settled. Not big launch, but kind of a beta launch. So if you go to anybeat.com, reserve a username, and so hopefully you can get you in there. If you're interested in being a ranger or being in the early testing of it, let me know. I know this kind of sounded like a little bit of a spiel or pitch, but this is, my life is my art, and I wouldn't be working on this if I didn't feel like it was a gift. It was a project that came from love and that I feel really good about. So I'm excited. I hope you will come to March to Your Beat at Any Beat, and yeah, it keeps going.
You only live once. Enjoy the color.